Welcome, one and all, to another exciting episode of Peace Talk, episode 68. I have a pretty exclusive guest with us today. She goes by Alexis, but for those who are familiar with Ascension Diaries, welcome, Alexis. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. We are meeting again to
Yes,
create some peace and some talk, and I'm happy about it.
the first talk we had was really cool. Honestly, went by so fast.
Mhm.
So I was really, I'm really glad to extend that and definitely focus a lot more on you this time around. So how are you doing? How are you feeling from this eclipse energy?
I'm feeling pretty good. I've been noticing that there was a big shift since after the weekend, basically into this week. I've noticed a big change because this weekend I could barely function. And I'm really glad to see that. And I was seeing all crazy stuff going on with all of the solar wind and the geomagnetics the last couple days. So I don't know why I'm feeling so, but I'm happy about it.
And what is your sun, moon, and rising sign?
My sun is a Libra. My moon is, feel like I don't remember. I checked two different resources and they gave me two different answers. Does that happen often?
So it's
But I got ascendant as a Pisces, sun as a Libra, and moon sign as a Capricorn, according to one source. And then the other source was like, just kidding, you are totally not that. And
what's one of
uh,
one of them seems to be close to the edge then, huh? Like it's either one sign or the other. Was the other one Sagittarius or Aquarius? That they said.
the other one was Aquarius. The moon is either Capricorn or Aquarius, and that's where the problem was.
Interesting. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I totally get Aqua Moon vibes from you. Like I could totally believe you're a Capricorn moon, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were an Aqua Moon because, especially with what we talk about too, or with what you talk about personally. Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I resonate with the Aqua Moon thing too. I was so excited to hear about that, and then I saw it was Capricorn. I was like, "What? What's
Yeah, so that's so and your rising sign was what again?
Um, it was I forget instantly. Pisces.
Pisces, and that is such a Pisces rising trait to just rising sign and just not really be too. But it's interesting. Yeah, I can totally see the Pisces rising. I can totally see the Pisces rising. That's really. What's it like to have Neptune on?
Honestly, everything I've been really grateful. Things have worked out pretty smoothly on my end for things, so not complaining too much. But I haven't even dived into my own astrology, and I've been looking into it more and trying to study it more because I obviously since what we were talking about, I see the power in it and I see the potential of it. And I also looked into my Vedic chart the other day, so I thought that was kind of neat. And that was what I was having disparity between um Astrolab versus this Vedic astrology sort of calculator. And I was like, dang it.
That makes sense. The uh, something about Vedic, or at least the principles that hold, really interestingly enough. But it's something about looking at your Vedic chart for the first time too that has a certain magic to it. Does it, in some cases, how do I say? Did you feel a connection to it? I ask because I want to see more so where you feel about Vedic versus Western. Not that it has to be pitted against each other.
Oh, I definitely realize that there is there is a big group of people who have this sort of opinions and things about it. And I just put my toes in the water literally just the other day, being like, okay, well, what is the difference? And I had no idea. So truly, I have more experience with Western, and I was born here. So I feel like that also may have something to do with which one I resonate more with.
Yeah. Have you ever run into some 13 sign astrologers or Vedic astrologers that they're like so anti-Western? They're like, oh, you believe in Western astrology? Like, how dare you? You're a horrible person. You didn't know it's the oldest system ever. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I was gonna say there could be Western astrologers like that too, but nah, I haven't seen it. But yeah, this beef is real in these streets. I would say that.
A beef, I'm sorry that I can't jump in on. I'm gonna stay hands off the beef today on
She's
that one.
a true Libra, guys. She's a real Libra.
I'm like, you enjoy your battle. I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna.
I told you guys, Pisces is the spectator. That's her rising. So, no, that's really dope. I actually did a World War Z episode where I tried to speak on dimensional awareness, and I got the sense that Libras are born with fifth dimensional awareness, and Pisces are kind of tapped into that sixth dimensional awareness. And this is all vague, you're talking about dimensional awareness like this, but given that whole conceptual frame, like, how is it really being a Libra in this postmodern society, or representing it, and dealing with being aware of the social themes we go through and evolve through, and then also having Pisces.
Well, it's interesting from realizing that I really like the way that you said that, because I've just come into more contact with people who have more Piscean energy just recently, and I've been observing them, obviously. And I'm like, wow, just like I've been hearing is how magical and mystical and sort of totally tapped into the ether and being able to create whatever magic that they want. And I'm glad that I get to sort of have that piece in my own self. It was helpful for me, because I find that I'm always in that sort of space. And then I have this sort of where I want to exist and find balance is this sort of physical 5D sort of the new place that we're trying to make. And so I kind of giving myself a little bit of leeway now, being like, it's okay that you're constantly looking into those other dimensions, because apparently that's more what I came here to do anyways.
And great transition, rather. You are a part of, or definitely representative of, Ascension Diaries. How did you create that? And what was the inspiration? How did you awaken the journey?
I was inspired from actually seeing and learning about the Schumann resonance. And it's it's a frequency sort of experience, this sort of the sound that the earth emits and is caused by electromagnetic disturbances, basically. And every planet has their own sort of sound. They all hum their own way. It's very musical out there in the end of the day. And so realizing that, and realizing it had something to do with our brain waves, and realizing that there is frequency changes happening and there's a big shift going on, I wanted to be able to track that and see if there was a correlation, a connection between my spiritual and everyone's sort of spiritual consciousness renaissance and this scientific data I could gather. So I kind of brought the two worlds together.
Genius. And could you speak more of the Schumann resonance, or the frequency, as far as like, as far as like what it is and how it also relates more with, how do I say it? I'm trying I'm trying to bring this into the golden ratio. Could you speak more of the Schumann resonance, but also how it may tie into like the golden ratio and other such calculations?
I can try.
Yeah,
Because that's
I asked a lot right now.
it's the weird thing is that when I heard about it and I started researching it more, I realized that there was quite a bit of veil sort of disillusion around this sort of thing. And the research I found was that it's a sort of a frequency, a sound that we all need and connects us to the planet, and the planet emits it. They play it in the space station because it causes, when we don't have it, it causes us to sort of be out of sync. And so I'm assuming it must have a connection to a golden ratio, and it seemingly does because it has its own scale, like its own musical scale. So there's notes of the Schumann resonance. It's like its own scale of music that's played, and it's an extremely low electromagnetic frequency in our ionosphere, which is like the most scientific thing I could say. But in my opinion, it's so much more beautiful and artistic because it seems to ring really loud. And these graphs that I watch go really crazy when we're having these sort of energetic shifts. And even in the astrology, when we're having big days like the eclipses and big transitions, I'm noticing that it just will randomly be a lot more disturbed that day, and people are having psychological effects and things like that. So it's crazy to kind of take it from the most esoteric side of like there's an evolution happening to bringing it down into frequency, the sort of science, and then showing it more in like the bodily lived experiences. And I'm sure it has something to do with the golden ratio, just because it's also a scale, so it must have a divine sort of a ratio, I guess, inside of it. And to my understanding, it has the same sort of tone, or the same 7.83 as the Hertz, like the sound, and it's supposed to be the same as the ohm. So that was cool.
I apologize because I might have I think I meant to say the Fibonacci sequence as well. If that has anything to do with the Schumann or part of it.
I don't know, to be honest with you. That's a really good question.
I need to research it more myself too. And I'm so glad you opened up about frequency, because I noticed that trend too. Like I didn't realize how much more practical we could utilize like the Hertz or the frequency and like the vibes and whatnot. So that's definitely amazing. That's really amazing. How have you been able to relate that to the frequency people have within their hearts?
Well, one organization I know about called HeartMath, the HeartMath Institute, they study this sort of coherence between our own heart's electromagnetic field and our brain waves. So that was another thing where you're like, okay, there is disturbances going on that are causing issues with our own hearts and their electromagnetic waves, our own brain waves, and what's going on. And so it's just all these waves and all these frequencies and energies. And it seems like there are scientists studying this, and this is a major part about our existence in this electric universe. So it's been tricky. It's been tricky coming from a place where I have just a psychology background. So I know there are environmental factors that cause us to have these sort of issues with our hearts and with our minds. But to get really into the nitty gritty of it has been a constant process, because I'm still learning about the science of it, because it's sort of hard to find, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that it's also being created right now as you speak, like which is amazing. Like the case studies are being done now, but really looking forward to how much more you kind of speak on this, because you're very intelligent, and the way you kind of apply art to this, I think, is more needed than we know. So, I mean, all perspectives. No worries. Yeah. Bringing up the heart, the frequency versus the mind. Is that also barring into how they say your heart has a brain?
Mm-hmm. Totally. And that was another big part of it because we're sort of realizing that the heart, there's like neurons, just like the brain, they're finding the same sort of thing in our heart tissue. And so many practitioners, spiritual, medical, everything, have been dealing with how our hearts have been behaving. And it's cool because there is a connection between our heart brain and our brain and feeling a healthy sort of bond between those things actually increases our overall health, our overall vibration, and gives us, I think, way more coherence to be able to improve and become our better selves each day.
Amen. I agree. Based on that, what do you feel? What do you feel personally can block or disrupt the frequency and vibes? And then what do you feel like may happen as an outside influence to block or affect people's personal frequencies?
Oh, that's definitely something I've been watching a lot because as sort of a person who wanted to be a healer and help people get basically just feel better, it's been a big interest of mine to see what it is that affects our vibration and what it is we can do to help other people and get ourselves all corrected. But it's sort of like thinking about yourself as an instrument and making sure that you're in tune with yourself and with your health. There, you have to be in tune with. If your environment is causing you stress, it's causing you it's causing you to be out of tune. So you want to really be aware of the factors that come in that are causing your heart pain and making your heart sort of retract. And even with your gut, it's the same sort of deal. It's like your body has all these systems to sort of help you avoid outside things that are causing you to be out of your groove. But then there's things that come in that are way grander than us in a way, like solar wind that comes from huge coronal holes in our sun, and it's shooting all of these particles at us. And our planet has a protective barrier um, to be able to help with that. But still, when we have big days of solar wind, I notice that people, they have trouble getting out of bed. They have angina in their hearts. Oftentimes they're having like heart palpitations will happen. They will have a hard time even getting coherent with their own brains because when the Earth's magnetic field gets all messed up, our own magnetic field can get messed up too. And it's crazy how connected we are from just an individual to a whole planet to a whole solar system of things that can disturb us, but
Yeah.
also that somehow we're strong enough and can find that strength to be able to withhold and withstand all of these crazy things that we really don't have much control over, which is what the sun is doing.
And that opens up a more fascinating discourse on being in the sea vibration
Yeah.
and just so much macrocosmic activity. How do you maintain your own individuality and manage your frequency through that?
And I think it's funny because I thought I was going to find some other kind of answer, but this answer has been around for so long. And really, the way that I know best to sort of get yourself settled is to sit on the grass outside and meditate and picture yourself in connection to the core of the planet, in connection to the sun, in connection to the oneness, and breathe and just allow all those things that are disturbing you that show up as thoughts or feelings just to become the observer and remember that you can really just breathe through it all, which is kind of crazy, but people forget.
I've been forgetting how to breathe all day. I'll just be like, but yeah, especially the meditation. That right there is even a more refreshing way to view it, which is great because I mean it's something that I'm sure everyone already kind of knows. But I like how you said like it's definitely something that you've come back to understand more because with these shifts in vibration and perspective, it's kind of allowing us, I feel, to sense these frequencies, almost to sense frequencies that were always around us, just
Yeah.
in a much more personable way. So now, how do you personally integrate concepts like angels or like spirit guides into what you do? Are they more like energetic beings or more conceptual expressions of our inner world, or I guess both?
Well, I think that's been one of the, I'm not going to say more difficult things, but to be able to come from and understand things on a physics level and an energetic level and a scientific level, that's just an aspect of who I am. But I truly do have a very highly, you know, I feed my spirituality and my connection to angels and to divinity and to all this stuff is another huge part of what I really enjoy of this whole consciousness experience. And I do tarot readings with my reports about, the cosmic weather because I feel like mushing them together is important, bridging those two worlds. So I love the fact that there are potentially beings or energies or whatever, since if we're all thinking of ourselves as just an energetic body, there's other energetic bodies on other dimensions and other densities of frequency and this huge scale of, like just like a musical scale. They're up there on another level, but somehow they're able to integrate themselves and be a part of us and we're a part of them. And somehow it's been helping me guide myself through my life because I do use tarot and I do try and channel information from a higher knowledge and a higher understanding to guide me. So it's fun. I'm still working on sort of understanding how I feel about those things and those beings, and I know it's a phenomena that exists and I've been able to interact with it, but I'm still exploring that relationship.
And what do you enjoy about doing readings with people? What's so far on your journey have you enjoyed as a part of it?
I think the funnest thing that I've gotten to do, because talking about this stuff seems to just flood out of my mouth, but what I really like to do and I've trained to do is counseling, but I've done it with tarot because it's funny how you can talk to someone all day, but you never really hit the core of what it is that they want to talk about or would give them the biggest healing. But if you allow tarot in and be like, okay, let's just pull some cards and we're going to see what we should talk about today. And it never fails that whatever comes through is always something that is is weighing on this person's heart, is weighing on their soul, and is something that they really could use some time and some space and some support in. And it blows me away every reading to just be like, here's this message. It's come through. And I keep pulling cards, and it's the same thing over and over. Like you're getting a promotion, and good luck with that. I'm so excited. And here's this and this and that. But it's so fun to be able to pull into the area of the unknown and bring it in, and then I'll be have it show up as a real healing experience with somebody, And that's a whole part of therapy that I was seeing in school that was missing. I was like, there's something missing. The spirituality of this is missing. There's so much more to this universe and this experience and people's problems. And I really like tarot because it helps.
Nice. And I do agree. There is that spirituality that I feel we're probably bridging or filling in the gaps with. So it's really important, especially I was gonna say it's really important that we're doing what we do, but totally
Yeah.
resonate. So let's just even if you are a Cap moon,
Okay.
I do feel more you're an Aquarius moon, and this really opens up fantastic channeling talent. So what's your favorite thing about channeling, and could you speak about channeling as far as what it means to you?
Sure. Channeling has been something I've watched my own mother be able to do, and I've had an example in my own life being like, wow, that's a possibility from someone I trust and love and care about, just watching her reach to people's hands and then just be like blah 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 and just like channel so much stuff for them, and just seeing the look on their face shift and being like, whoa, you just discovered something about me that I don't know how, and that was perfect. And I saw her abilities and was like, I want that so badly, because I've, was in university to try and help people, and you could have people in therapy for years and they never get that type of healing. And so I I was like, I gotta get it better at this. And I learned about, purifying your third eye. I was like, I want to be able to tune on whatever it is that I can do and channel for people. And I find that I do a decent job now with the practice with tarot, because it helps to sort of open up that channel.
Yeah.
And some days I'm channeling stuff about the collective. I find it happens a lot where I'm just seemingly understanding huge patterns that are happening and shifts that are occurring to people, which I know you do so well. And it's just so fun to be tapped in and observe the whole, potentially the whole planet and what they're up to and what's going on and what words can be said to help or make others aware of it.
Agreed. Once again, like you can say it right, like you did, but then actually doing it, it's just like, wow, it's almost like a responsibility that I don't want to say gets thrusted on you, but it's switching from micro to macro, I guess.
Yeah.
Very well. So,
It is a big responsibility. And that's why my mom's been like, I don't know if I want to do this, because you can channel things for people that may not be what they want to hear. And
that's what I was going to ask you too. Do you ever have? It's always awesome when you give like good news and especially in tarot readings, because I don't want to try to give no bad news. But have you ever had to deal with like readings or consultations where you had to tell people some unfortunate things?
It's funny because I have one tarot deck that I use, which is like the more traditional one, where I'm like, so watch out, because usually this is the more like savage, like right to the point, cut to the bone type of reading. And then I use my angel deck after and being like, this is a little nicer and it's not going to hurt so bad. But sometimes for sure, when I'm like, what do we need to talk about today? And it's like the tower and the devil and just like death, and those kind of cards fly out. And I just find that at least an ability I'm able to do is find the optimistic side of it. Because there's the both sides, and I haven't had to deliver anything too drastic and horrible to people. It could happen. I don't know. But so far, I've just been like, this is the tower card, but don't worry. This is the death card, but don't worry. And so thankfully, I've been able to work with that and always end up with a smile. Like that's the one thing I've always wanted to do, is just bring joy to people. At least attempt.
Yeah, I mean, can't please everybody, but
No.
it's what it is. Along the way, we get who we can. And yeah, that so far, just definitely very grateful. Is a real, I don't know if it's a Libra thing or if it's your Libra, your Pisces, and your Aqua, but like your aura and energy has low key got me loopy. So let me not like project this on you because it's a good thing, by the way. But I do you ever get the sense that perhaps you may trigger ascension to people, like you raise their vibration and they may get more psychic around you and channel more, which I've been learning to deal with the whole. I'm so used to watching it with anime, like when someone has a stronger vibration, like they can feel the pressure, like, oh, this is that. So I'm starting to notice that, like, between sun signs, it's actually kind of real, and moon signs, so it's kind of interesting. Um, I just said like 5 different questions. Right?
No, that's all good. Totally. If I had to say, so wait, what did you say about my aura first thing? Because I like missed it. You said it was something about being a color or something. I totally missed that part. And then I'll go.
I was suggesting that I feel loopy. I'm thinking maybe it's the Piscean energy. Like I feel a little loopy, like Neptunian, where
Oh,
I focus because like my energy is picking up a lot more vibes, and I just feel like perhaps your presence is amplifying it with the power.
yeah. I think I have had a similar effect on most people, and I'm really grateful, and I'm aware of it too. And
Oh, nice, nice.
I'm aware that I've had this effect with people, and when I'm in the room, it seems like I'm very much involved and aware of my own vibration and how it sort of just kind of hits all the walls, and I'm just sort of taking over. And I've been a lot of people I've spoken with, and that's why I offer sessions too, because I love this some sort of inherent ability to be able to raise other people's vibration just by conversation, just by being around each other. People who are open to it, obviously, and more, they've done their own work too. But I've would say that I've definitely helped a lot of people sort of flick into a different vibration that they aren't usually in, and then they just feel so different and so happy, and it's just, it's humbling to see that I have this effect on some people. And it's been an interesting sort of journey because I want to be able to give that to as many people as I can. If that's my power, I want to be able to share it and help as many people with it as I can, because that's my whole goal, is to have everyone feeling that awesome feeling all the time.
Super awesome. It just adds more meaning to Ascension Diaries. It's like we get to read off the gems you leave for us, or with us rather. But yeah, where do you? Oh, okay. So I was gonna ask, where do you feel yourself going with your brand and what you're doing? But I'm also interested in your life path number and your human design, if you know it.
I think it's 9.
Oh, life path 9. Let's look at two. Mexico. And I mean, you feel like a 9 too, so I'm not gonna lie. I can calculate it real quick. Um, I'm pretty sure it could be like I didn't realize with numerology there's like 27 9, 36 9, or you can like have the different combos. And then are you familiar with human design?
Human design. I think I have the book.
Oh, I need to get a book.
And I had the program that did the whole all your meridian system and the chakra points, and if they're filled or not. That's the same thing, right? I'm not losing my mind.
I think so. I think they include that a little bit.
I attempted to look into it. It was very intense and complex. So
That's where I'm going to next. Like when I want to master human design, start teaching that, and maybe galactic code. I didn't realize it was so complex though. I thought astrology was like the all end all be all complex, but this one is just like a whole nother level. So definitely awesome. But yeah, where you headed with what you're doing, or any future plan?
Where I'm seeing it and where I'm sort of the visions that I've been sort of being getting fed over the last like year, which I don't get too many, but you know, when they come, it's sort of I keep seeing um like a caravan, like a sort of mobile movement of people who are in our community and sort of being able to make those connections, like having a party bus, basically, like an ascension disclosure consciousness party bus where I'm going to be able to travel city to city and bring our community together even more in the people together, in the physical, like in the where I can actually touch people and you know, hear their stories in person. And just like yourself, like I'd love to go out and visit you. And this, it's the biggest thing is this distance between us and the physical that I find is our biggest obstacle that we're overcoming right now. But there's so much more to be gained with our vibes, even getting close to each other, our fields. It does so much work to sort of help purify us and give us even more to work with. So that's what I'm hoping to be able to have the online community to bridge a lot of this sort of starseed, you know, angelic sort of community together online, and then be able to afford through my Patreon to at least just like sustain myself long enough like throughout the month so I can go to these places and make more connections and bring more people into the community and sort of work with flooding the community with people like us.
That'll be really fun. That'll be really. I feel that too. The whole okay, especially if you're a Pisces rising too, you have Jupiter past your seventh. So I mean that polarity between working on yourself and having personal time, and then now feeling ready to connect outward with other people is going to be so fun. Like I totally see this as soon as November.
There's just so much fun to be had. And I feel like we're working really hard, but there's a lot to be said when you're playing really hard too. And there's a whole musical side of things too. Like if we're talking about vibration, like I want it to be very musical and lots of healing modalities. And I just feel like there's so much more fun to be had, and I want to have it because I'm not going to just sit by myself in a room and make YouTube videos all day. I want to have a good time and be with my people.
Yeah. No, definitely. And this totally brings us to the epic questions game. We're gonna take asking each other questions. I try to hype it up as best as I could, but yeah, you'll ask me a question, I'll answer, I'll ask you, and then we'll go for two more rounds after that. So
Okay. So if I had to ask you a question, it would be, what would it be? What it would be? Okay. I want to know if you would project that such a thing could happen, like this crazy caravan of people coming together, because I'm seeing it happening a lot more by next summer. I thought it was going to be this summer, but it is sort of happening, but I didn't realize how much stuff had to be sort of settled. But when do you think that that would sort of happen logically with this, with your abilities to project?
yeah, projection game is crazy these days. I totally see next summer. Personally, for me, definitely. But I see this summer actually being able to accomplish more than you expected, but like still, you know, setting up everything else for next year. Because, but when I say next year, it's not like it'll start next year. It's like everything will have already kind of like crescendoed to where it climaxes. So yeah, the feel I get on it is like being pulled in before you're completely ready. Just like, oh well, let's just be wild and go along and let it go while it formulates. But yeah, it's really awesome too, because this is a real adventure. Like there's that sense where it's so much bigger. What you're embarking on is so much bigger than we're all aware right now. So there's that part too. Yeah, and the whole theme of it being a party bus, a magical party bus or a magical ascension bus that just illuminates the collective conscious as it tours around your town and city. I love it. I really love it. So yeah, thank you for the awareness, rather.
Yeah, my pleasure. The more people aware of it, the more people thinking about it, the happier I am, because I know it's going to be manifesting.
In the greatest way. I feel you on that. My question then is I definitely, one thing, because I've definitely felt Libras represented archangels, but I've more so realized it's even deeper than that. Libra is very much so that agent for the galaxy and the cosmos, which I now just see Men in Black. Like that's just so badass. But like personally, what if you connected with like a higher being who wanted to give, like if you connected with this higher cosmic goddess and she was like, bestow upon humanity one of my gifts or powers that they may need. Like what do you think, if we could know anything from that wisdom, what do you think you would tell humanity? What would be the first thing that you would need to kind of like, if you had to direct their growth in consciousness?
Yeah, that's an easy one. Totally. Let me think about that for a second.
Right.
I think one thing that I find gets kind of lost and is very divine is the beauty and like the poetic nature of how all of this works, and how sort of seeing it as poetry and a dance and a rebalancing, I feel is kind of lost, and really helped me and helps me every day to sort of be like, allows me to step back and see it for the beautiful thing that it is. And I feel like that's a very like divine goddess sort of high angelic thing to see, because of course the angels are going to be like, oh, it's beautiful, everything's so beautiful. But the things that move me the most have been people who speak about it in a more poetic way, because I find people are just so dogmatic and they argue a lot about how you're supposed to say things and do things, but it's kind of just a big, unique piece of artwork that, and you can't really argue with art.
True that. Actually, I really do once again like to emphasize, I personally feel Libra is the zodiac sign of art. So whenever I hear y'all talk about art, I really pay attention. because it's like it's almost as if style comes from y'all. But once again, like, and I hate to interrupt, but yeah, or rather, yeah, considering the art and outside of art, and I guess you answered part of this already, but more so, my bad. It sounds like something is like spilling in my place right now.
Oh no.
Okay, all right. Just in case it looks like I'm out, like I could hear.
Just in case, everybody, his apartment, his place is flooding. It's beautiful art.
Yeah. Like, hold on. This is right here. My bad. Yeah. Forget what I just said right now. My bad.
Okay, I have a question. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, my bad. I'm ready. And I'm going to ask you this after, but I looked up your Patreon, so I'm going to talk about that too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Patreon's awesome because it's so nice to have just even like $1, $5 from the people who really get a lot out of the videos that you make, and they know that YouTube doesn't really, I mean, for most creators, give them enough to be able to sustain with the amount of hours and effort it takes to create this content. So it's really nice to have that sort of support. And for people who pledge $50 for me, I will do a session with them every month. So it's kind of like also having a sort of client list. And I don't want to say client list, but from my background, it's kind of like people who want to have that extra support every month and sort of help them through their own ascension process. It's kind of a way to help me eventually be able to sustain myself and, you know, help so many more people more one-on-one, and also give them that accountability, because a lot of people won't go to their second session or third session. But if we're setting it up and have more of an open communication about this, it's easier to kind of give that help and encourage people to keep investing in themselves, because it's a form of self-love too. So that's my spiel about that, I guess.
Nice. And I'm going to ask you this again too after the questions game, just so we can kind of get that fleshed out, because I just became a patron.
Ooh, thank you. That is so nice.
No problem.
I appreciate that.
But I'm curious about your question now.
Okay. I was interested because I know I've seen your self-channel, and you can flow so much with your own conversation and your own intuitive messages, which are, you know, more inspired by the astrological things that are going on. I'm curious when you have more simplistic cues like ringing in your left versus your right ear. And I was curious, that's one thing that I like to ask other channelers is like, what do you feel if you experience that? What do you feel?
Ooh, okay.
Have you? What are your thoughts on that?
No, that's such a great question. That's a really good question. I've learned with channeling, I think because I don't have Virgo, I don't have Libra, I don't really have a lot of Scorpio or Leo. Like I just channel the energy. So when it comes to the sensations, I didn't realize how much I've been oblivious or blind to a lot of it. So there will be some times that I hear that high pitch, like maybe like after, not even during channeling. I think because I have a lot of earth, more of it is like a physical sensation, to where I won't realize until later that I might have been draining energy. But what I channel about this is that, or at least gain, is that there's a lot that's happening around me too, and that's why I'm glad that you asked that question, because I think that I'm only aware of like maybe 1%. And my limited awareness is just so focused on channeling and being used as a vessel that it's like while I'm channeling, I'm not aware. And so that same dynamic is why I feel like I'm meant to have a partner who can let me know what happens when I channel, or like what happens when that occurs, or at least come into the awareness that way. Because that's the next level of where I'm wanting to get at personally too. I feel like it'll help my channeling, and it'll make it less vague too, and more, well, not that too vague, but it'll definitely make it more focused, and just make it more fun and magical. And I'm so glad you asked me that, because this kind of goes into my next question, where what's like a practical superpower that if you could develop and learn over the next 2 years, you could use, like, say, for example, automatic writing, and you could just use automatic writing to write like 5 books in a day or something like
That would be so awesome.
that.
That's definitely one thing I've tried, and I've definitely had moments where I'm just like totally out of my mind, and I'm writing, and I'm writing in all caps, like all capitals, and then I'm writing in small, and then it's all capitals for like certain words and things, and I'm realizing that that might have something to do with my channeling. It seemed like it's like whenever it's an absolute, like higher dimensional truth, I'll like write in all caps, and I can't even stop myself. It's pretty cool. But
Do you purposely do that over typing?
I'll do it over typing too, yeah.
So, or rather, do you prefer physically writing to typing?
Well, I actually really like typing, and I use that one the most. But when I was actually physically writing, I was noticing that was something that was happening too. So I don't know if anyone's done that before, but that's definitely something I'd love to get better at. But I feel what's one thing that I would like to train still? I think I would like to I want to get more in touch with being able to see their like Akashic records and like their galactic sort of connections, because all of the planets and places your soul may have been before you came here, I feel like is something that really was a huge interest to me. And I would love to be able to help more people kind of connect with that, because I've know people who do it, and I've really enjoyed their work, and it's empowering. It's hard for people too, because they'll disassociate from their earth self, and they'll be like, well, I'm this person from this planet actually. But if you're doing it in a healthy way, I feel like it's also really cool, because you're like, wow, it's empowering to realize that you have had all these lives potentially on other planets, and that you're now here to do something with all that experience to help our planet.
That is a dope power. I don't even know if it's called cosmic awareness, but like when you said Akashic records, that struck such a chord, because it's just like being so much more intimate in readings with people too, because it's like,
Yeah.
you just got the lowdown of who they used to be in past life. It's like, oh, sit down, we got tea.
Remember your dad did this in other lives? That's probably why you have this problem. And I've seen so much people be helped by that stuff too. It's all these cool healing modalities. I just kind of want to try them all.
Yeah. Ooh, what do you feel? Okay. This could be a third question, but what do you feel about mediumship, and how do you feel about connecting to spirit?
Well, I think mediumship was the thing that really tipped me into realizing that there is an existence past our death. And that was a big one for me. So it's great that you mentioned that, because when my grandmother was going through, you know, she was basically told that she was going to die because of her cancer was so bad. And we now know that there's other ways to heal. But back then it was just starting to kind of come out on more for everybody. So when I was trying to grapple with the fact that she was going to be gone, but she had introduced me to a medium, and a lot of people know it. She's on TV. It's like the Long Island Medium. And I don't know if you know about but her content and what she does. And again, I would watch this woman be a medium with other people. And as like a heightened sense of intuitive empathy, I was kind of realizing and seeing people's whole consciousness would shift when she would talk to them. And they would be like, wow, like they would be super affected by the messages that she was delivering. And some of them are very specific. And I was like, this is impossible, really, with the odds of everything. And it really helped me understand that there really is an ability to sort of connect with people who've left and they're still around. They're just in some other plane of existence. And some people have the antenna tuned to be able to pick up on that. And so that was a big awakening for me, just to sort of read into that. And I thought maybe I was going to become a medium, but I don't have any personal experience with any sort of souls trying to get my attention to deliver messages to loved ones. But my mother has a couple times.
That's what's up. You know, when you're on the mediumship and when you get to that kind of like rocky, kind of like when you first read tarot cards and you're not sure if it's accurate or not yet, and then you know you're on. Yeah, I want to get into that too. That's fun.
You want to be a medium?
Yeah, I want to. It's interesting. Like I'm very much so passionate about astrology, but like I want to be more. I really want to master more of the intuitive, like mediumship, just reading off intuition. And if I could set up a special cell phone service to where like you could get minutes and then talk to like a relative for those amount of minutes, I would probably do some Uranus and Neptune and Capricorn stuff like that. Just have your own exclusive other side network call, kind of like getting long distance calling cards. You get like other side calling cards.
That's awesome, though. I feel like there's a medium out there who does that. I swear.
Right? Like in some way, probably. So that's funny. So I think we're on round 3 now. Yeah. Yeah. 6.
So it's my turn again. I mean, I can go off of that sort of mediumship question. What is an intuitive ability that, other than what you've mentioned, like, is there anything else you wanted to try, that you wanted to get into? Because we kind of latch ourselves into these sort of niches where our audiences are and where our abilities are, but you know, to expand and into new things, like, is there something like musical or, you know, totally unrelated, like backpacking, that you'd want to get into?
Backpacking would be fun. Honestly, one of my greatest passions has been like sketch comedy and acting, and I love music because there's a performance quality. Astrology, I've learned early on, is more so like a tool on the way to my true purpose.
Yeah.
Which I really feel is what I really want to do. On top, like I definitely want to get into teaching. I think one of my biggest passions was actually like teaching. And when I realized I could teach magic and astrological knowledge, like that's definitely a passion. But what I really want to do on top of life coaching is to be someone's like personal genie, like to be the medicine man. Like if you need anything done, if you can't go to your doctor, if you can't go to anywhere else, come to me. I'll just work on some magic, and then I'll like, no matter what you are. I mean, there's some stuff I probably wouldn't do because of integrity, but you know what I'm saying, come through the back door and all. But yeah, I want to kind of be like and yes, for those in the live chat, I am bringing the skits back. I linked up with the Pisces yesterday who asked, so he's definitely excited. But I definitely want to be that like strange, that Doctor Strange magic.
Yes.
Where if there's some things you just can't get anyone else to do, like can do that for you, and just do a spell to heal glaucoma or to get you that fantasy lover, or to cross the border, just anything. Like I'll do the odd jobs, and so there's that, like basically manifestation, and then my hugest passion that I want to do now is to be a ghost hunter and to just exorcise demons from people. If I can do that, if I had to go through training for that, if I just could kind of like go down Las Vegas and just cleanse houses and just cast demons out of people, I would just make it all extra flamboyant more than these two. But that's my hugest dream right there.
And so what would you be wearing? Is I just keep visualizing your outfit while you're doing that. And I just feel like you'd look like a wizard.
Yes, that's such a great question, because I've been so fashion unconscious for a while that now that I'm coming into myself, it's like, well, yeah, honestly, I would like to look like, if I'm doing the magic shop work, I would kind of like to have like a wizard hat, and I have my staff with me and
Of course.
wands and everything. But I kind of want to develop this kind of aesthetic to where like I'll wear like astrology clothes, or I'll have like a watch that tells time in transits, and try my best to look out of this world as I can. And yeah, but I really like that idea of just wearing very strange wizard clothing, just so it can look like I came straight from Hogwarts or something.
Yes. I just feel like I was just getting that so much in my mind. Like, what is it going to look like? Like, what is he going to wear? And it's such a huge part of like stepping into another role and having people know what you give them is basically by what you look like a lot of times. So you're definitely going to fit in on the crazy magic bus if you have that. So like, let's just get on the bus. Let's drive around. We'll heal everybody no matter what. Just bang that staff on the ground, and I'll just stand near them, and everybody's going to feel better.
I'm already feeling that. It's coming soon. It's coming. Oh, well, my last question for you is the hot seat question right here. What are your 3 favorite zodiac signs, and what are your 3 signs that give you the most challenge?
I would have to say, I guess I can't put Libra in there, but I guess I can. I definitely would put Libra number 1. That would be my favorite. And I think Gemini would be my second favorite.
Wow.
I have a personal investment in Geminis, and they haven't done me wrong so far. So I've been having good luck with Geminis. And I think I would put Pisces up at the top 2. Like the top 3 would be those 3, at least right now. And then I don't know if I could say they were bottom, but the ones I've had the most learning with have been the ones I've had the most learning experiences with. I think it would be the best way to say that I'm really grateful for have been Cancer, Sagittarius, and potentially like, I guess maybe Aquarius or Scorpio. I would put those last 3. In personal relationships, I've had a lot. I have I have 2 Cancers in my family directly who've been my biggest, combatants and best friends. So it's been nice. And Scorpio, same way. Sagittarius, same way. I just love them all. They all have their own amazing qualities. And once you figure that out, it's so much easier to be like, to have that balance with them, which is such a Libra thing to do. I'm like, what's your strength? I like that. Let's go.
That assessment right there. All right. Well, thank you once again. It's interesting. I didn't ask you enough because I wanted to get into what you feel about is lacking balance, but I totally do plan to invite you back on for more shows.
Sweet. That would be awesome.
That would be really dope. So, yeah, I guess to close, do you have any word of advice for people on this path? And also, how can people reach you if they would like a reading? I have the link to your Patreon and YouTube channel below. So,
Sweet.
yeah, let us know more about the Patreon.
Sure. I'll just mention that first and then give my little, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say last. There's always a good nugget that comes through. Whenever I'm doing podcasts with people, it's like people just give me the best stuff. And I'm just like, well, I don't know what to say at all, but that's fine. It'll come. But I think the best way to contact me would be through the Facebook page I have, which is Ascension Diaries, also ascensiondiaries@gmail.com. or alexisbuck.com. There's a few. I'm literally everywhere. I'm on Instagram, Ascension Diaries. And yeah, the YouTube channel too. Anywhere you want to reach out to me, I'm really good at being able to make that connection. So ascensiondiaries@gmail.com, easiest way.
Are you also Live in 5D?
Yeah, that's my other Instagram, Live in 5D. That's my I don't know. I guess I would say my personal one, my sort of my artistic expression, where I get to be less of my brand and more of my more of myself and more aspects of myself and my artistic side. So that's where I hang out. I do a lot of Instagramming, which you know. And I guess for final words, I would just say that if you are feeling all of these shifts going on and energetically, and you're really wondering how it is that you can sort of navigate these things, and there's lots of different ways, but if you're interested, on my channel, I do reports and I do talk about and give scientific, support to the shifts and the changes in the symptoms that we're having through this cosmological shift we're going through that I'm just proving over and over, not proving, but getting a lot of evidence towards is happening. And it's okay that you're not feeling good some days. And it's okay that you're feeling out of your mind, because a lot of us are. And I wanted to create a safe space for people like us to kind of understand that there is other factors at play and it's not just us. There's a lot more to it. So if you're interested, it's a safe space. We talk about it often, almost every day, about what's going on and the tarot readings, and it's a fun time. So I'd love to welcome anyone who's interested to joining the family. Yeah, as long as they're nice and play nice.
No trolls. And yeah, make sure you check it out. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Also become a patron too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alexis, for joining us. This is a really awesome talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys stay blessed. Thank you guys in the live chat for tuning in. I don't know if you were able to see the live chat, but the comments will be available too after. It definitely showed my love. So yeah, y'all stay blessed, and until next episode, peace.